Hi everyone, I'm Laura McBride and welcome to my Naughty Elf design workshop. In this workshop I'm going to teach you how to create salon viable Naughty Elf designs on your nails. I really hope you enjoy this workshop, so let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome to my Salon Viable Elf workshop. So I have already prepared my tips. So I've got a red, a green and a silver, and I have matte top coated these ready for me to be able to do my nail art on. So if we were doing this on a client, we would have done our prep, our base coat, 2 coats of gel polish and then our matte top coat. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do, these are really nice and quick designs because we want to make them salon viable. So I'm going to grab my striping brush and I'm also going to get a little bit of white. So this is a painting gel rather than a gel polish, but I just want to loosen it up a little bit. So I am popping a little bit of white gel polish down next to it and I'm going to mix the two. So the painting gel is going to thicken up the gel polish, but it's going to loosen up the painting gel, if that makes sense. So we're just going to do a really simple striped design on here, a little bit like the stockings that we see on an elf. Okay, so on our red, I'm just going to go in with my striping brush, load it up, and I'm going to come across, center, horizontally, and pop in a white stripe, white right the way across the nail. Okay, so obviously if we were doing this on a client, you'd be steering clear of their side walls, but making sure that we are carrying that line all the way to the edge of the nail. Don't stop short, always make sure that you're taking it right to the end of the nail. Okay, so I'm going to do this again, leaving obviously our red gap, coming across the nail, and popping our stripe in, again taking it all the way to the edge and not stopping short. And I'm going to go again. Now because we've got that painting gel in this mix, it allows us to be able to do more stripes than if we were using a normal gel polish. So you could probably get away with 2 stripes with a normal gel polish, and then you'd have to go in and flash cure, okay, because it would start to spread out and bleed, whereas we've got that painting gel in there, so it enables us to be able to do a few more stripes and get a few more done before they start to bleed out. So again, popping this stripe in here, and you can do them as thick or as thin as you like. It's entirely up to you. Obviously if the client's nails were shorter, then I would probably go a little bit thinner to get that striped effect in there. So working all the way down the nail, again making sure that we're taking it right to the end, or the edge I should say. And then just popping that in here right on that cuticle line. And again, we'd be steering well clear of our client's skin. So I'm going to pop that in now for a full cure. And then we are going to move on to our green nails. So for this, I'm going to use the same red that we used for the red nail as the base. So this is normal gel polish, so that we create that consistency across all three nails. And I'm just going to clean off my brush so that we don't get any of that white in there. And I'm going to create from the cuticle line a triangle. So I'm just popping in my central point, and then I'm going to come down quite far, and then either side of that central dot, popping in the line of our first triangle. So this is going to be like his neckerchief, and then tapering that down to a nice point. And then working that away from the cuticle down into that point and filling in that negative space. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on this side, pulling that down and away from where our client's skin would be, and then filling in the negative space. I'm doing the same on this side. Pulling that down, making sure that it's even with the one on the other side, and then pulling that down, filling that negative space. So I'm just going to pull this one down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that's now going to go in for a full cure, and then we can start on our third nail. So this is going to be our elf's little face. So I've got a skin colour here that I'm going to use. So this is just like a nude pink. Okay, and I'm going to go in with my large dotting tool just to create that rounded shape of his little cheeks. So I'm going to go into this gel polish here, and he's going to be at a slight angle. So I'm just popping my polish down and getting that rounded effect. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with my brush and just float this product out. So I'm going to come straight across here and then pull this product out into that negative space. I'm just going to crisp up this line here. Float that product out. Okay, so that's now going to go in again for a full cure. So I'm just going to grab these out of the lamp. So this is our stripy nail, and I'm going to literally leave that as is. Okay, so it's super salon viable and really easy and quick. Now for this nail, I'm going to grab a little bit of my gold painting gel. I'm going to pop that down, and I'm going to create a gold outline for this, or you could use silver, it's entirely up to you. And I'm just going to go in with my slightly fine liner brush and just create a border along this triangle. So tapering it down, making sure we've got that really nice crisp edge. Doing the same for this one. pulling that down, making sure we've got it really nice and crisp. And then this one as well. So because we've got that red, it does give us a slight divot to be able to lay our brush up against, so it does make it easier to create these lines. Okay, so I'm just going to check that. I'm just going to pull this one up here slightly and just crisp up that point, and also crisp this point up here as well. Okay, so that's now again going to go in for a full cure. And now we have got our face that is cured. We are going to go in with our white and we're going to create a cuff for his hat. Okay, so I'm going to come straight along this line that we created for his face. Okay, and then I want to create some triangles. So again, I'm going to start in the middle, put my border in, and then fill out that negative space. Okay, so by starting in the middle, you've made sure that it's nice and even. And now I'm going to go in and fill in that negative space that we've just created with our gel polish. I'm just going to thicken that one up slightly. And I'm just going to crisp up any lines that need crisping up. So again, that's going to go in the lamp for a full cure. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to top coat this green nail with a shiny top coat. So going over the entirety of the nail, and you can see we've got a little bit of sparkle in that green. And obviously if we were doing this on a client, you would be capping your free edge and steering well clear of the cuticle line and side walls as well. So I'm now going to grab a little bit of my hard gel, and the reason I'm using hard gel is because I want to just pop some crystals onto the neckerchief. And the crystals I'm using are these beautiful tiny little golden crystals, and these are from Crystal Parade. So I'm just going to grab that nail out and going into my hard gel, so this is what builder in a bottle would be. I'm just going to pop a little dot on each of these triangles, and then with my pickup tool, picking up my crystal, I'm just going to move them slightly closer. So I'm just going to pick up my crystal and pop it into that hard gel. So we've got that little bit of bling going on as well. So I've popped them on. Now I'm going to use the end of my crystal just to push them, my pickup tool, sorry, just to push those crystals down into that hard gel to make sure that they're nice and secure. And then that's going to go in for its final cure. So now with this hat, I'm going to go in with my green. So I'm going to use the same green that I used for the neckerchief to create his little hat. So he's got a green hat, not a red hat. And this is a normal gel polish as well, okay, so you need to be careful that it doesn't bleed out too much as we are painting it on. So I'm just going to go in with my thinner brush, just load up that brush, and then I want his hat coming over, so I'm just going to pop my outline in first, and it's going to come down the edge of where we've just done that white. So bringing that round, and then coming down the side, and then again doing my outline. So butting it up against that white. Making sure that it's nice and crisp. And then just filling in that negative space. So now I'm just going to bring his hat up a little bit more here. I just want to make it slightly thicker. And then pulling that product up and round. For the point of his hat. Okay, so that's now going to go in for a full cure, and this is our handkerchief, neckerchief finished. And now I'm just, while that one's in the lamp curing, I'm just going to top coat my stripy stocking. So again, I'm going to go in with my shiny top coat for this one, because that red has got that little bit of sparkle in it. So if you wanted to go matte, you could, but I'm going to go in and make it nice and shiny. So obviously if we were doing this on a client, again, you would be steering well clear of their cuticle sidewalls and also capping that free edge. So the same rules apply as if we were doing a normal gel polish. So I'm going to pop that one in the lamp now for a full cure. I'm going to grab my Alf back out, and we are going to pop his ears in. So I'm going to go into his skin colour, and I'm going to come either side of his hat, and I'm going to just go in and do his little Alf ears. Don't be tempted to do them rounded because they are slightly pointed. And the same on the other side. And again, just putting that border in and then filling in that negative space. Just got a tiny little gap there that I need to fill in. Okay, so again, that's just going to go in for a flash cure, and this is our stripy nail now finished. So you can see how by using the same colours you get that continuity between the design. Okay. So I'm now going to go in and create a little bit of interest on his hat. So I'm going to use the very tip of my brush, or you could use your pointy dotting tool. Okay, so that creates a smaller dot. So I'm just going to come into that red, again tying it all in and popping 3 little dots just there, 3 little dots just there, and 3 little dots just there. And then I'm going to come in with my larger dotting tool, and I'm going to go and do a little bit of holly just up here on his hat. So I'm going to do my 3 berries first, okay, and that's going to go in the lamp for a quick cure. And then while that's in the lamp curing, I'm just going to mix a green. So I want 2 different shades of green, but it can't be the same green as his hat. So I'm just using my painting gel. I'm going to grab a little bit of white just to create a lighter green. Okay, so I'm going to do my lighter green first. So just looking at where I want these holly leaves to come from. So I'm going to create that shape with my holly. Again, putting that border in first, and then filling in that negative space, making sure that I'm pulling that product out into the points of that holly so that it's really nice and crisp. Okay, and also with this lighter green, I'm just going to do a little line so it looks like berries on his hat down into there. Okay, now while I'm here, I'm going to grab my black, and this is going to be his eyes. So again, I'm going to use a dotting tool to create these, and they're going to be really simple eyes. So I'm going to come into my black and do one eye here and one eye here. Okay, so again, going in for a quick flash cure, and then we're also going to do his little nose. So I'm going to use a brown for this, but I don't want it to be too harsh a brown, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white because this brown is far too dark. Okay, so just using my silicone tool, grab that white, grab a bit of brown, and mix a lighter colour, which is what we have got there. And then again, going in with my brush, going into my brown, I'm just going to do a tiny little U shape just for his nose. Now I'm going to grab some pink for his cheeks, and again, this is really simple. It's literally just 2 dots, okay, but it's going to be using the larger dotting tool to what I used for his eyes. So I'm just removing the excess of my product there, and then we're going to come in here and then here for his little rosy cheeks. Okay, and we're also going to now come in and do our darker green sprig of holly just here. So again, putting in our border and then filling in that negative space. And again, tapering out those leaves. And I'm also going to go into my white just to add a little bit of interest into my holly leaves. I'm just going to clean off my brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shine on each of my berries. So that's now going to go in for a cure, and that needs to go in for a full cure. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to top coat it, and then I'm going to go in with my hard gel again, and I'm going to pop a little cluster of these crystals just as like the bell on the end of his hat. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of all of this and have a little tidy up, but I'm going to leave that hard gel there because we want that to be able to do our crystal work on the end of his hat. So just removing that. So this is a really simple little elf, but nice and quick. So it means that when you have a client and they want a little bit of Christmas magic, you can do it nice and quickly, just using lines and dots. It's super simple. So again, I'm just going over with my top coat because this silver has got that little bit of sparkle in it. Evening out the texture of his face, and then also capping that free edge. So again, he's going to go in for a cure, and then I'm going to use my hard gel again to be able to put my crystals on. So this is going to marry up really nicely with his neckerchief. Okay, so we're just waiting for that one to cure. And for this one, for example, you could do a really simple cuticle cuff of crystals if you wanted to add a little bit more bling to it. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so I'm now going to go in on the end of his hat, pop that hard gel down, and then I'm just going to create a little cluster of crystals for his bell. Making sure we scooch all of those up, and there you have it. So I'm just going to pop that on the stand. Obviously that would go in for a cure. So we have got our neckerchief on the green, we've got our really cute little elf, and also we've got our stripy nail, and that completes this workshop. So that completes my Naughty Elf design workshop. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this workshop, and if you did, please make sure you click the like button, and if you want to see any future workshops, please make sure you click that subscribe button and that notification bell. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you all soon.